Right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Week in Italian Startup after the August break in Italy, where we are pretty much forced to take holidays. So everybody's like on hold. And here we are back on track with some new rounds and some very interesting news. What's up, Nick? How's it going? How's everything?
Ciao, Jack. I'm great. So, you either have to stop or you work in the shadows. It's
Nice.
either or. Yeah, I had a great summer. How are
Awesome.
you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Keeping track and shadow working. That's a good way to put it. I agree 100%. All right. So first interesting insight that you were mentioning a few weeks ago was the fact that actually the count of the different rounds post holiday kind of hit last year level. So we're kind of lining up a little bit more and more. Right now we have a little bit sort of flexion, but in general is tracking relatively well. So what is your take on this one?
Yeah, it's good news that we managed to get to the same level as last year in August, even though September will be difficult to catch up, as I think
Yeah.
there were quite a few big rounds. I'm aware of at least one that I missed from last week. That's a 20 million round. We talked about it last time, but still there is a long way to go to catch up. But I think it is manageable. Other than September, the other months were flattish last year.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can break the record.
Yeah, pretty typical. We have a flat kind of end of July, August, I would say, and then everything kind of is planned. But it's kind of on purpose in a way. My feeling is that people really try to push it post holiday break. So that's relatively normal in the Italian ecosystem, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is not true that these are not happening. It's just they're not being communicated.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So
Yeah.
I think for some reason I will find myself sometime in mid-August closing, signing, or doing stuff with some startups. So
No, for sure. Yes, in the shadow. It's more shadow than actually before. So yeah, that's good. All right, so let's start with the elephant in the room, actually. Bending Spoon doing a lot, actually. So let's go chronologically. So starting first of all from the, I would say the financing. So the 500 million in debt, that is basically organized by a syndicate of a huge investor and actually follow-up investor for Bending Spoon. We're talking about JP Morgan, PNB Paribas, Crédit Agricole, Goldman Sachs, HSBC. A lot of people that already have been betting on Bending Spoon and their strategy. So what is interesting is that we are really seeing the growth of a huge tech product M&A engine, I would say. So it's interesting to see how everything have been lining up. We've been following Bending Spoon since kind of the beginning and kind of wondering what's going on there and how exactly it was going to grow, and is following up like massively with massive round, very well targeted and definitely well put together. So I don't really bite into the debate. Is it Bending Spoon a startup? Is it not a startup? Whatever. It's a great company doing great, and that's all it matters, honestly. So definitely kudos to the team.
yeah, and it is a great example for other entrepreneurs. And right now, it's a source of potential new big and great entrepreneurs. So I think I love everything of Benny Spoon. So only happy to see what they're doing. And agree with you, super interesting round, the 500 million. And the other half of the article was about are they eyeing an IPO next?
Good point.
And that's super interesting. There will be potentially finally a measure tech IPO coming out of Italy.
Super interesting. That's massive. That's definitely massive. Probably also by the fact that it's not a given that they're gonna IPO in Europe. Probably they're gonna go US, or maybe for sure US. I don't know. I think there is a high chance probably.
Yeah, non-zero. JP Morgan leading the debt round, that's a signal somehow. So they are, dipping their toes into the big players from the US, even though, JP Morgan is the biggest bank in the world.
Yeah.
So it makes absolute sense that they
Totally.
hit such a round. We'll see. I mean, the jury's out there for that. But of course, the most liquid markets are on the other side of the pond.
Absolutely. Okay, the second news from Bending Spoon is actually the taking private of video platform Vimeo. Very, very interesting. Basically, what they're gonna do is buying $7.85 per share, all cash, for a taking private of about 1.38 billion. So this 7.85 will give investor 73% of premium on the prior close, roughly. So very interesting deal. And so far, this is Bending Spoon's largest deal to date. So this is a big deal, I would say. So what was your first reaction, Nick, on this?
No, my first reaction was, oh God, they're globbing up all the big names of the web in the 2000s. When I was at university, I mean,
still there, exactly. So following up what we always discussed, the nostalgic 2000 acquisition strategy, that's there. It's definitely there. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, like putting together a little bit of dots. So we're talking about, all the bunch of synergies that they can take advantage of, starting from StreamYard with Brightcove, for capture and packing for video, and then streaming with Vimeo, and then let's not forget like WeTransfer as, for example, distribution, let's say. So maybe the angle is really an end-to-end, maybe enterprise video stack or video stack in general. So let's see where they're gonna go with that. And that's a very interesting like synergistic play.
Yeah, that's interesting. Nice. Good one, Jack. Good catch. I mean, we are seeing the pieces of some kind of creature being formed, but we still don't see the full picture.
Yeah. And are they going to keep the products separate after they optimize them for revenue and pricing, like they usually do? So the play is really being like, taking over, cleaning up, optimizing pricing, repackaging some of the pricing tier for some occasion, I believe. And what's going to happen? Is it going to be a mega product at the end, or they're going to keep the different brands? Because, both, I think, alternative are super valuable, given the fact that except with some exception, none of these brands have maybe the strength to maybe be extremely huge, right? So I'm thinking about Vimeo. It's known, but it's not as big as other video platform, I would say. So are they gonna keep it? Are they gonna maybe rebrand it? Interesting to see what's gonna happen there.
And now that I think of it, this is just pure speculation, but if you think about it, there's also a data angle in this. So I mean, with Evernote, with Vimeo, marginally with WeTransfer, I don't know whether they have the legal ground to do something with the data that's stored in these platforms. But today, if you have access to data, you can do things. I think in Gen AI.
For sure.
I have no idea about the legal ground, but
interesting point.
That's another interesting angle.
Point. Yeah. All right. No, definitely something to look forward and to see where this is going. I mean, we should involve people in private equity to see what's their angle on this, because maybe they see things that people in venture, we don't see. So maybe there is a even bigger picture. I don't know. Yeah. All right, let's talk maybe about some of the latest funding round. Maybe let's focus on some of the biggest one of the latest weeks. Let's talk about ShopCircle, because you guys were involved into this deal. Very interesting. 100 million in Series B round from Nextalia Ventures, Primo Capital, CDP, 645, FundX, and FG2 Capital. So what is your take on this one?
Yeah, actually, to be fair, they raised the Series B extension, so this is actually B1. That the B plus B1 altogether sum up to 100 million, and it was around as we see that growth is accelerating, is around to preempt and enable the team to further push for growth. They just announced a couple of very interesting acquisitions. you know that ShopCircle has this strategy, acquisition strategy, the integration to the platform, and they're getting ready for the next steps of, to scale further. So super happy to be in this round. And it's
Awesome.
very Italian, around with Italian traction in this case. The international investors all followed, but in this case, there was a strong Italian traction.
And you guys were on board since the early phases of ShopCircle, right? You were like there roughly. I mean, I'm not saying at the beginning, but like kind of early.
No, kind of. We missed out on the seed round. We would have loved to join them at the seed round, but we were in between funds, so we didn't have the firepower. So we joined the A round.
Cool.
But we loved the founder, so we couldn't stay out of the investment.
So that was the main, one of the main sort of signal. The founder there really led the sort of the way for your investment decision. And I'm curious to see how exactly you guys were thinking about ShopCircle. So yeah, founder led was just an impressive founder overall. Cool, super interesting.
And the play was very interesting. So quite new in some sense in the European market in particular. So we have big players doing something similar across the pond again, think Constellation. But ShopCircle was one of the very early signals about this platform play at the VC stage in the pure software sector. It was super interesting to join such a play. Today is kind of more common. So if you look closely, you will see several projects doing the same. But back then was one of the very early ones in Europe.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about another huge rounds that happened. Actually, is a transaction with Mitsubishi Electric acquiring Nozomi Network, an Italian company. And that's super interesting because then in terms of corporate venture, that's one of the sort of the cleanest playbook that Mitsubishi could play, in my opinion. What was interesting is that they started collaborating with Nozomi. They then, for a few years, then they participated to one of their equity round, basically like trying to get a sense on how the company will perform. I think they participated in the 100 million Series E, so kind of on the late side, but that's kind of okay for like a big corporation like that. They kind of want more sort of risk-adjusted sort of plays into this space. And then finally they decided to acquire. So very interesting, like step-by-step process, definitely long, definitely it probably had their own complication, but definitely good job to Nozomi to do that. And the deal, I think, is around 1 billion. So that's definitely a landmark for industrial cybersecurity. So that's interesting. And another interesting element, that's the largest acquisition for Mitsubishi Electric. Imagine that. Yeah. So definitely something to consider and something that is leaving a mark for sure. So definitely interesting.
One last bit is that CDP Venture Capital actually managed to join the Series Z in an extension a few months after it was announced.
Interesting.
No, nice move, I would say.
Yeah.
So they got back some money and more in a year.
Yeah.
Nice play.
Absolutely. And talking about getting back money, I need to tell the listener that there's going to be a kind of a deep dive next week from a report that Nick is kind of studying, which is the BlackRock VC metrics on European funds. So kind of comparing TVPIs, DPIs, and IRR, which are the magic triad to understand better how VC funds are performing. And I'm looking forward to actually, dig a little bit deeper and analyze more like what's happening in Europe in general, because there are good news and bad news for sure. So that's what we're going to do next week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun next week. So take a look at my X account and at the newsletter. and then we reconvene here.
Awesome. Nick, thank you so much for joining, and see you next week.
Ciao, Jack. Take care. Ciao, everybody. See you in a week.